Hello, can you guys hear me? I'm testing out my mic. Awesome. It's supposed to give me a professional mic at some point. I'm still using my webcam. But hey, if it works. All right. Well, I got music. Uh, I got music here. I'm just having to set it up all weird because I used to have three monitors, but one of them broke because I had to move my desk and I didn't put it in a more secure position because my cat decided to crawl behind it and start screwing with the wires. So it's not really my cat's fault. Yeah, I'm trying to find my goddamn glove. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got me a dedicated drawing glove. And I don't like drawing on my Cintiq without it. All right. So, I'm gonna start the music. Find us a good balance. All right. Let me turn it down. All right. Oh wait, hang on. Okay. So, how is the balance? Maybe too loud. That better? Testing, testing, 1, 2. Okay. I might not talk so much. We'll see. I just want to try to avoid having to type. So, Ron, hello. Yes, I am back at it. I've been back at it for a little bit. I just haven't streamed. Hey, Scud. Still using the mouse. Thanks again for that. Let's see. Sam, hello. How are ya? Marcelo. Oh, was that in response to my cat? And Sam. Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. So let me show you what I got. Actually, let's see. So, let's go to the beginning. Have the music turned off. Okay. So let's go back to the start. And we'll go to the end. Oh, that's the problem. Gotta yeah, okay. Stop there. Okay. Here we go. So that's the animation. It's about, let's see, 300 seconds. So 60. Oh no, 300. Jesus Christ. It's 300 frames. So let's see. What's 331 divided by 24? Okay, so it's a 13-second animation, which is a pretty good chunk. And there's a lot of areas where it kind of like holds. I had to game the game a little bit there, but yeah, overall it's a 13-second cartoon. And we start pairing in things like title sequences. It's probably gonna go on for a solid, I don't know, like 15, 16 seconds, which is a pretty damn good chunk. And the crazy thing about this is I've managed to get all of this done in like 1 week of animating, which is like ridiculously fast compared to how I used to do things. I was working on this this animated gig where I was a director of a crew of 7, and it kind of required me to work faster, like a lot faster, because I had to not only do my directorial duties of logistics, money, charts, communication, feedback, and all that. I also had to like animate, so I had to work really goddamn fast. And in the end, I got a whole bunch of animation done, but my crew did a lot of the animation. But I had to work fast to kind of be able to keep up and do my regular duties. And now it translated to this by me working a hell of a lot faster. This probably would have taken me like a month. And when I was doing things like I did in this time. So, enough yapping. Let's get to it. Alright, so the part that I am working on today, yeah, I know it's kind of a funny looking scene. So you probably noticed, but I did kind of bulk up the character model a little. I, like the rest of you, saw the Cosmic Invasion trailer, and I thought that the model that they had there, or the character design they had for Jen Walters there, was really goddamn good, and I wanted to try to replicate that a little bit here. So right now she's pretty damn bulky, but we're gonna chisel away at her physique as I tighten these things down. But for now, I'm just kind of working on the overall motions. So the motion that we're working on, all right, is right here. So she comes up, right, and you probably noticed we got a little bit of like bulk action going on. So like here, her thighs kind of bust outward. Here, her upper torso busts outward, and then here, her arms bust out. So we got 3 different areas of her body kind of like pumping up. And so what I'm having her do at the end is right now her arms are going behind. I got a little heart there, like she's proud of herself. I'm having her arms kind of like come over her front and then come to rest here. I just didn't want to have a whole lot happening here because we've already done so much, and I don't want to go too crazy and add too many keys, because then we got this whole thing going on right here. So enough talking. I've been talking too much. All right. How's the music? The music fine? You're familiar with how I usually animate things, utilizing the little balls there to represent body parts is a little cheat code. You can kind of see how her head's moving just from that alone. But her head isn't really on model right now. I'm just kind of like getting the basic placements together. This area is here, is kind of I never liked doing raised arm poses because of all the different anatomical parts at work. But yeah, she I kind of made her a little more bulky. I wonder if I went a little overboard, but that's what we're gonna tighten this down as we go. I may slim her up. We shall see. But honestly, I'm thinking no. I think she looks fine. So we got a little bit of motion here that maybe you've noticed. We're having her hip kind of rock a little bit, because right now I kind of got her body like this. Terrible drawing, but whatever. Her torso is kind of facing out like this. I kind of want her torso now at this stage to kind of be leaning over like that. If that makes any sense. Okay, you'll probably notice a lot of inconsistencies with like lines and stuff, but that's really not a problem. These are like the main sort of guidelines to help me kind of keep her entire body in proportion. Alright, so we kind of got a little bit of anatomical activity going on in her chest area. So because her upper arm is still raised, her pec muscles are still raised as compared to the pec muscles on the other side. So I had to have her chest kind of lean downward. So here's that major muscle. And these are all just like, you know, rough placements and all. It's by no means like the final drawings. Wish I still had my mirror. Mr. John Hanson, aka the man, the legend. How you doing, man? Long time no talk. I think it's been what, an hour? So, oh yeah, it hasn't even been an hour, has it? So, kind of got her hand, moving through space here. I never liked doing goddamn anatomy and perspective. I hate it so much. They suck. Sometimes I feel like I just get lucky. Nope. Okay, we have a little bit of a weird thing. So there's her. Okay. Yeah, John, do you particularly mind if I refer to you by your online persona name? I just wanted to ask before I start, you know, saying that. Yep, Mr. Joseph. Yes, I do talk once in a while. Today I just felt like talking. Alright, Mr. Jompa. I appreciate that. It's a lot easier than saying your whole name. If I start doing that, feel free to call me by the acronym that work stands for. Okay, so up here in the goddamn ab region. I kind of got that that Greek extra ab thing going on up by the chest. But when you draw abs, it's a good idea to kind of like, you know, draw the upper portion a little bit like a wrench that connects to the rib cage. So, what WUK? It's a little it's that little character that I drew up, you know, the little Russian dude with the winter hat and the sunglasses. He's a little character I thought up a long time ago. It stands for Weird Ushanka Kid. Ushanka is a well, it's the proper term for a Russian winter hat. Okay, there's the leaks. It all looks a little not too funky, but it's okay. We're not trying to stay on strict anatomical detail orientation at this stage. Okay, something weird happened. Okay, so we have her hip coming up. Yeah, for some reason her knee compressed goes in. Okay. So let's try to keep that alive. So actually it will come up. Yeah, usually when I'm animating, I don't talk. I'm usually just animating in dead silence like a psycho. So sorry if I talk too much. We're just trying to make placements. That's all. So the idea is I'm gonna go back over it on another pass later, like I usually do, and tighten it up. This is more to just keep a general. So it's not like incredibly smooth at this stage, but you should be able to see the basic idea. So once again, you can see the areas of her body that I do them exaggerated specifically because if I don't exaggerate them, it can be super easy to miss. So the more exaggerated you can make things when you animate, the better. It might look funny if you look at it singularly, but when you look at it in motion, it's a whole different ballgame. Hands were never a particularly strong suit for me. But so, I'm gonna need to go over this later. See what exactly the hand would look like. What the fingers would do. I'm just getting the basic shape in there, that's all. What have I missed? Santiago. Oh, okay, I'll go with the 46. It's not exactly a voice reveal. I have talked before. I've just refused lately. Call it stage fright. Santiago. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you get the idea, Jampa. like, you know, characters like Slender Man and Wraiths and stuff, that might be a bit on the back burner for now. But I do like the idea, and trust me, I haven't forgotten. There's one thing I do like, it's when, you know, the shows create new material, don't just rely on the old stuff. What the hell was it called again? It's the goddamn... Oh, don't tell me. It's the... Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. Sartorius. Okay, that's it. Yes. When I was in practice, I could think of the names. Having to stop. But yeah, you guys can see the motion, right? Looks a little funny when you go backwards, doesn't it? But yeah, there's that, all these drawings that took us where we're going. This part, I cheated a little bit. You don't notice it when it's in motion. But if we're looking at this, we should be able to see the other arm, right? Like, I just drew, like, literally the shoulder and one arm, but then it kind of sneaks out from behind it. That's not really how life works. And I know it looks kind of weird right now at this stage. It's all rough, but it'll look better. Got a little Popeye face going on here. But we had to have a little bit of scrunch in this face, that way when her, boom, eyes pop open, and that sort of like, realization thing, and then it settles into here, it actually looks like something's going through her mind, or some sense that she's feeling some kind of sensation. Jarvis! What's up, dude? Oh, right here, here's another one. So, the face looks a little funny, but when we're going into that that sort of final motion going downward, her eyes open up a little bit, right? Because what I'm going to have them do is scrunch again when she goes down. So it actually helps me sell the motion of going downward, because we've already got a bit of counteraction and then action. Right? So action, counteraction, action, counteraction. So boom, boom, downward, and then that feeds into the upward motion. So it all kind of works together. So boom, boom. Right. Now I know it looks a little static here. I did work some camera moves in there to help make it impact a little bit. Yeah, I got a little bit of camera zoom to help fucking, oh, sorry for my language, to help sell the upward thrusts. So we do a little bit of a zoom, so that way it does seem like she exponentially increases in size. I cheated with the camera, I'll admit. Save often, save always. Okay, let's keep going. We still gotta fill this gap here. I'm gonna need to go back over these hands, but I'm not worried about that right now. They're gonna need some serious attention though, that's for sure. You talking like right here? Let me go to the So boom. So rather than easing into it, you're talking about like a little bit of a bounce, yeah? Let me see. Let me see if I can't work it in with what I've already got. So boom. That's actually let's just see what it does. A lot of this comes down to experimentation. I don't want to use any keys going forward. I just want to stick to what's behind. So, and then as she settles into her final placement, maybe let's see if that helps it. Anyway, you'll have to help me with what you mean. I'm a little lost. It doesn't look bad. I could live with that. So when you say bounce when she's about to put her hand on her hip, I'm trying to. No. I'm curious. If you see it, I want to see it too. Now, there is one thing I am gonna do. I'm gonna have the hands finish their arcs separate. So this one's gonna come to rest first. But this one, her right hand, is actually gonna come down like this. Okay, here, I'll number them for you. So. Okay. So, John, here, let me help you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, yeah, no, I get you. So, that's actually what I was going to explain a little bit. I'm going to have a little bit of that here going like this. So, here, let me show you. So, here's where the hand is going to come to rest, right? Let's actually start there. Okay, so here is where her hand is going to come to rest on her hip area. Some shoulder. So right here between frame 7 and 8, right? One of these body parts has a lot farther to travel than the other, and they've got an equal amount of time to do it. That means this hand is going to be traveling a lot faster than this one. All right, this one's already kind of on the move and is closer to its finishing pose, right? This one's going to have to travel a lot farther, and so that's where we're going to have that overshoot. So here's her finishing position. I'm going to have it go down this way. So, boom. So. Okay. So we're gonna need more drawings. You know what? Before I go too far, I actually want to put these back. I don't want to have them offset for no reason. So I didn't really see a whole lick of difference when I was moving them earlier. So I want to move them all back into their spots. What Christ, tell me okay, good. Okay. So I didn't lose that drawing I had made already. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna have this hand here slide along her hip area. She's kind of riding up her own leg. I'm just trying to find the motion. Darn it, that's my time. So actually, that kind of breaks the path I had set up for it, so it'll actually make more sense to keep the hand around there. So, now that her chest but yeah, I'm gonna have her arm actually kind of come down this way and then kind of recoil up. It's just I'm not quite there yet. I gotta move one at a time. Moves that. The reason I kind of wanted to move all of the drawings back to their original spots is because at this point her lower body really isn't moving all that much, and I kind of want to use the onion skins to save a little bit of time. Actually, I could totally see her hand being like right here, also wide open. So let's do the whole mittens thing. Okay. So I'm gonna come down. Actually, I'm gonna need to bring that bicep in around there. Let's like I say, if it looks a little off in terms of like some of the lines, that's no big. We're just we're trying to find the motion. I can work in all the parts of her body later. So let's try going the other way. Okay, so I've been drawing like a lot today, so pardon me if some of these look a little weird. I'm getting a little worn today. I've been a lot. Music still fine? Okay. Let's see what. Hey guys, give me 1 sec. I need to go. Mix dinner really quick. I'll be right back. I'll keep this playing on a loop for you though. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna pause it. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. Huh, I wonder who's leaving me all those hearts. Who could it possibly be? Thanks, babe. I love you too. All right, let's get back at it. Pitter patter, let's get at her. All right. We're doing muscles today. Seems to be a common thread. Okay. So let's finish that motion. All right, so I was looking at her head, that's right. So a good point of reference when you're doing head moves is obviously the nose. The nose and the ears. Yeah, hi there, John. Been a total of, I don't even think, a minute, maybe 2. Okay, so I changed things up a little bit since I first started drawing this. Not like this particular one, but I made a common mistake that a lot of people who draw muscled females make whenever they draw. Okay, so get that placement for that tablet / phone. Okay, something's not right. I screwed something up. Okay, so see? Screwed that up. So this should be looking, here's where her deltoid comes down and meets her bi/tris, which means the phone should be a little more straight on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna work backwards. Maybe that'll help. I feel like I'm still screwing that up. Yeah, totally. So, boom. So this is coming. Here, let's do this. Light erasure. So I'm gonna do this. Gonna make a cylinder. Probably not gonna work too much longer. It is Saturday. My wife and I are going to see 28 years later tonight. Okay, so here is that pictorial guideline. Oh yeah, here's where things are getting a little more tricky. Probably a little more exciting too. When we get over here, we're having her actually lift her leg up. Right? So we got a little bit of foot action going. For those who thought I was purposefully framing this so I wouldn't have to draw feet, you were partially correct. So when we're drawing like foreshortened stuff like this, you'll probably notice that most of the motion is actually in the foot, and a lot of this stays relatively still because all the action is taking place in her joint. So after I get past this pose, the rest of these are going to be pretty straightforward to draw. Like here's the under part of her thigh. This pose right here sucked. I hated drawing this, man. Anatomy is one thing, but anatomy upside down is another. especially because this anatomy is like that, like underneath, like the taint, the crotch area. That's one area I don't know too well. I haven't studied those inner muscles down in the groin. Yes, she is saying absolute cinema. That's gonna be her line. I feel like I just barely got away with it. Like when we see it in motion, we'll be able to forgive a lot of the things down there that aren't really quite making sense. Okay, but let's finish what we were doing here. So before I get too lost in the weeds here. So I feel like I'm kind of getting lost here too. So let's do the old cylinder trick. So this right here is gonna be where her epicondyles are for her arm, which means out here is gonna be her elbow. Right? So what that tells me is whatever, I'm gonna move this hand in case I want to keep it. Whatever's going on in the arm, it's going. So, which means that this is the, what the fucking goddamn, the ulna. Which means this is where her wrist is gonna be. Which means we got a little bit of musculature going on back there and a whole bunch of it right here. So let's see, Alex. Oh, actually, let's go back up. Alex fan, yes. Not necessarily the foot. It's more like the knee. The knee is moving the entire lower leg. So you notice we're keeping the knee joint in place by the time it gets right here. So the lower leg is doing all the moving. Since we're doing a bit of a camera move, I'm having her head kind of sink lower into behind her chest to help illustrate that that we're lower than her. Okay. John, yes. It is a freaking nightmare. I hate drawing this goddamn area. It sucks. But yeah, I think it turned out acceptable. Alex, yeah, like pretty much all motion begins in the hips. If you don't have good hip movement or believable hip movement, your movements ain't gonna fly. Okay, so let's start with some her. Let's say. So here we got a little bit of tri action, a little bit of bi action. You know, we can do that hand thing I was talking about. We got that wrist. Goddamn. Hands and feet, man. I swear to God. I feel like some days I could do them a lot easier, and some days I cannot. Today is one of those days. Let's start here. So, hey John, do you got any like tips for how you can do hands easier? You seem to be something of a something of a professional in that regard. I know it's kind of funky looking, but let's see. I think one mistake I've always had when trying to do hands is I always keep trying to do it too symmetrical. Like Sometimes when you just kind of let loose and let the fingers do their thing. Yep, that's pretty much me too, man. Sometimes I get lucky. Like, what the fuck? Like why is her hand facing us? You know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm probably gonna need to shoot reference later. But I'll just leave it like this for now. God damn, it's so freaking hot in my office. Yeah, remember I told you the other day, John, that it was freezing? The situation's changed. It got a little warm today. Let's see. Like, I know the hand doesn't look great, but you can see an open hand turning into a fist, which is the plan. Like, I know right now the timing is all pretty even. I'm gonna move things around so that way, you know, we get a little more variety in the movement speed. For now, I'm just again trying to find the areas. I'm trying to find the paths. That's all. Okay. So I'm just gonna look for the placement of her head. Because right now her chest is doing a lot of the movement because of her other arm. It's dragging up the clavicle, the other pec, and a lot of her obliques on this side. So once it comes down, it'll drag everything down with it. I know the hair kind of looks doing its own thing here. I'll work out the hair once I get the motion in place, because then I can actually draw out where the hair's gonna go. Because like right here, I didn't figure out what the hair was doing until like after I completed the motion of the camera. So it kind of explodes out and then swings over, complements and counteracts the movement of the body. Body goes right, hair goes left. Of course, I was pressured into it. People keep asking for it. They've been asking for it for a solid part of a year. I'm doing this for you, bastards. Nah, real talk. It's been a hot ass minute since I have done another one, and I've gotten a little better at drawing since the first one, and I felt like it was about time to, you know, give it another fair shake. The design changed. How I animate's changed. Like, it's been a year, man. It's been a year since that first one. And lots happened. But even now, like, just, you know, drawing this out and how I'm approaching this versus how I approached it when I first started doing these, it's a whole different ballgame. My hope is people can sense the enthusiasm that I have for this when this releases, because there was no pressure at all. I'm being real with you right now. I was just looking for something fun to animate that I could have a lot of fun with. I just came off of my professional project, and I was looking to have some fun. And you know, drawing a new transformation sequence, it hit the spot for me. I'm happy to do this. And I'll admit, the Cosmic Invasion trailer was like, son of a bitch. I gotta get back in the game here. I'm falling behind. Okay, so we got a lot of movement going on in her body here. You see all the lines kind of doing their thing. But you guys want to see something kind of fun? It's something that a lot of people who do anatomy like know, but it's harder to do when you're animating. But I had to animate her entire torso turning with her hip. So a lot of her abdominal muscles, they actually flex along with her hip. So drawing the abdominal muscles just by itself in a regular drawing is hard enough. Try doing it like 8 times. It's good practice though. Alex, they can. Your torso is a series of, you know, of little meat strips connected to bone. They're attached to bone inside of your hip and on your rib cage. So you'll notice the rib cage doesn't necessarily move all that much, except when her whole torso rotates this direction, right? The movement's all done down here in her hips. Had to give her a little bit of that sort of feminine flair. All right, so by the time we get here, we're gonna have to start introducing face stuff. Now, you'll notice it comes to a screeching halt right here. I'm gonna do another drawing between this one and this one to ease her out of it, you know, because we still got some motions of her arms that needs to happen. But you know, we'll burn that bridge when we get there. One sec, guys. Looks like we're about to hit the end of our hour, but I'll draw a little longer. I'm gonna set a timer for another 30 minutes. After that, I'm probably, maybe 45. After that, I'm gonna call it so I can go eat dinner and then get ready to go to the movies. All right. So let's keep it going. Hey Siri, set timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Starting now.
All right, let's go. Damn, it's so freaking hot. And I can't even open the blinds because now the sun's in my freaking screen. So let's kind of take stock on where we're at here. Yeah, like you guys can see it, right? You guys can see the overall motion I was going for. So actually, when we were when I was doing this motion at first, I had an idea to kind of utilize the camera to help like make some jerky movements to help sell like upward thrust, and I was considering making this like a 360-degree motion, but I showed it to a few people, and the overall consensus was that it looked better when it was just one solid motion. John was one of those people who said that there's one solid motion and keeping it simple is probably the way to go. And I agree. It looks a lot better this way. I tend to overcomplicate things sometimes without really knowing it. Yeah, where do you live again? John, you live in the East Coast over, I believe, in one of those upper eastern states. Let's get our last. Yes, one of the rebel states from the 1700s. All right, we are going to introduce. So this is where her other hand's gonna be placed. I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. Use the skins. If you've watched me if you've watched me animate, you probably know my opinion on onion skins. A lot of folks rely on it way too much. I try to avoid them most of the time. Just try to rely on my eye to fill the gaps, because your eye knows better than anything about what should happen. So if you just follow your eye, that's why we do the flip method. We use the flip method to kind of rely on our spatial senses. But here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna bring that elbow. This is where we're gonna have that sort of overshoot, right? So here's where her ulna connects. So we're just gonna draw an ulna, but lower. Once again, utilizing the ball method. Okay. So actually, her hand should connect here. Boom. Boom. So you can see what's happening with her hand. So here, let's get the shapes there so that way it's not quite so easy to get lost. Here's her contractors. And I believe, John, is the outside of your arm, so you know, like when you have your hand pronated and your muscles are facing outward, are those the extensors? Because when they flex, like when I open my arm, the upper end of the upper side of the arm is what's flexed. So that's the extensors, right? It makes sense. Why else would they call it that? Okay. So, here. We got a little... So let's put her chest... abs where they... pretty close to where they're gonna finish. I might be able to actually bring that a little lower just to make the action a little clearer. Okay. Let's actually... let's make it a little bigger. Here, for her parts that don't move so much, I'm going to start getting some basic indicators in there. Yeah, I'm not trying to really get detail, I'm just trying to get... That's a terrible idea, I shouldn't have done that. Jesus. Alright, but you can see what's going on, right? Her hand's overshooting, and then she's making a fist and recover. Now, since she's basically like, you know, solid rock with those muscles, I'm not gonna have the rest of her body doing too much. I'm gonna keep it kind of on its already established motion, and it's not really moving a lot. When we get to the kick, I'm gonna need to figure out ways to make her leg seem a lot heavier, because we're talking about a lot of mass here. When the Hulk moves around, you can feel it. So we need to find ways to have you feel it when she moves around, because we're talking like, you know, 9 foot of muscle here. So I wouldn't want her as an upstairs neighbor. Let's see, here's where we start getting into that glowing stuff again. Let's look at it in motion. There you go. See? Now I'm gonna be able to get away with using a little less in-betweens. It really depends on how I do the timing. Okay, what's going on? Oh, Jesus Christ, JCR, $5. Seriously, dude, thank you so much. That's gonna go a long way towards caffeine funds. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate those donations, guys. Seriously. I'm gonna these things take forever, and I appreciate when folks come out, take the time to, you know, observe the process and give a little something to help me along. It really does mean a lot. I appreciate the fact that you guys care enough to actually stick around, watch this a little bit, hear my little stupid rants. It's a good change of pace from just doing it by myself. So, you know what? Here's what I'm actually gonna do. I'm going to try to work the timing. Alright, so the main motion is right here. So I'm gonna Yeah, see that we've already got we got a little bit of variety in how our body parts move. Like her left arm moves a little more evenly, and normally that's maybe not too advised. But I'm offsetting it by the fact that her right arm moves a lot faster and out of symmetry. So it's easier to forgive more even movements of other body parts. You just got to shake it up in other parts of her body. Now, actually, when I look at her left arm kind of doing its thing, it does kind of smack into her hip a little bit towards the end. So what I'm mostly seeing is the ease ins for both are different. So what I did was a combination of pose to pose animation and then straight ahead. You mix those up. That's how you get interesting motions. You establish the storytelling motions first, which in this case, let me go ahead and show you. It was these guys right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the storytelling motions. So hip, chest, arm, recover. But when we got to this part right here, where a lot of the interesting action was happening, I just went straight ahead, drawing by drawing, to try to make the transition from here to here occur in a somewhat asymmetrical fashion. If I had more time, I would have probably put the sign here again. But I'm not gonna. Not this time. This is more about... This isn't really about the sign. Let's do one more. So I'm gonna do a little trick that I've been doing for a lot of this animation. I'm not gonna actually make a full-on drawing between here and here. What I would normally do is, you know, find the cool pose between here and here and then go with that. But I think what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna let your mind fill in the gap. I'm just gonna draw the end. So what I mean by that is I'm going to make drawings that favor the final pose. Because what's going to happen is that your brain is going to fill in the gaps by itself. Watch. It's hard to explain. I'll show you in just a second. So boom. Always keeping in mind that the body has parts that are linked by joints. A lot of the times the joints are not moving themselves. They are causing movement, but they themselves don't move all the time. So in the areas like where her pec muscles and lats all meet up with her humerus, I'm keeping that sort of joint still. Everything else is moving up along with it. So check it out. Look, here's what I'm talking about. You might be able to get a sense of it here, okay? So we're gonna start from here. This is a weird ass drawing, man. All right, so a lot of the motion that we see in this last part comes from this key over to this key. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna help this process along. All right, And we're going to fill in the gap of these two drawings by simply drawing one drawing before it that actually initiates the motion. So I'm drawing everything somewhat close to where it ends up. You'll notice it's not directly in between all of this. Your eye's filling it in yourself. You're saving me a little bit of time. And now that we zoom out, you guys can see a little bit of that hip motion, right? God damn, these are some fucking massive lats, pardon my French. It functions the same as a smear, but rather than me drawing the smear, your brain fills it in. So that's how you can tell, like, that's how you can tell who knows what they're doing, who otherwise, versus someone who maybe doesn't. And I'm gonna be totally friggin' honest, I didn't learn that trick until I was on that last job. Like, when I was basically given no other choice except to learn shortcuts or die. And boy, do I tell you, I was dying, man. But here, well, by the time I get to the, when I get done with the drawing, I will let you see what it is I am doing. Let's get some sartorius action in there. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, let's move to the arms. So I'm not gonna have her like hand go all the way up and over. I'm just gonna have her hand kind of curl backward in space the way it normally would. Okay, and once again, we're just utilizing the next drawing as a sort of stopping point. So I don't want to go over it. I want to stop just before it, because when you look at it in motion, it'll seem like it never stopped. I don't know why, but it's like, I'm gonna leave that way for now. So let's go for that elbow. Yeah, I know it looks a little funky right now. It'll look better once I start articulating these things a little more. But even just looking at it, you can get a sense of what the arm's doing. Alright, so let's look at it in motion. Hold on a second, maybe it's the timing. Okay, yeah, the timing screwed it up. So let's fix this. Okay, so let me show you. So the idea is solid, but the timing was messed up. Maybe I can show you. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. Each one of these little cells there is a drawing. As I scrub through the animation, you know, it goes to each cell in the timeline, all right? You can see the time in between each drawing by the space between the cells, right? So here's key drawing 1, key drawing 2. Oops, and then let me pull that back up again. And then key drawing 3, right? What you're gonna probably notice is the space between this drawing and this drawing is like, what, 4 drawings? But then the space between this drawing and this drawing is like 2. But then if we look at the next drawing, it's like 7 or 8. That doesn't make any goddamn sense, because what we're going to see is boom, boom, boom. We hardly even register that before we move into the next hold here. All right? So what our eye is seeing is boom, 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 like boom, 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 boom. There's not really a lot of flow there. So I'm gonna try to fix that. So I'm gonna try and make the space a little more even. Okay. So you guys get the idea. I'm not gonna take up my screen with my timeline. So I'm gonna try to fix this. If I end up scrubbing through it a few times, it's because I'm trying to work through the timing. Sorry if it's a little on the boring side. All right, so you can already see the difference. Now I might need a couple more drawings to close this out, especially like right here as we come down this way. I might need like one more. You know what? I'm gonna mark this as a key just so that way I don't lose it. So this is the. Actually, no, I want to make it a breakdown. Okay. So I'm gonna add maybe one more frame to this, and then maybe one more here. Okay, that doesn't look very good. Let me undo that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a light drawing here to see if I can make this make sense. So the same principle that I applied to that last drawing, I want to apply here. And that's not far enough. I need to bring it up. There we go. So I'm gonna actually utilize the keys here and cheat a little bit. Okay, just to see how it looks. Yeah, works for me. Sort of like a thing that she's got going on there. If I was feeling more adventurous, maybe I would have her do something cocky as hell, like kiss her bicep or something, but I've already got enough going on, man. I don't need to add that much stress to my life. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do one more drawing, and then I'm probably gonna call it a day. I just wanna I wanna start out the next section a little bit. So the next section, as you are aware, is this guy right here. So she's gonna like turn to us and then raise her leg for a hammer kick and then kick the screen. To anyone still there who is watching, does the hammer kick so far seem to make sense. Like you can see what her leg's doing. Okay. That's a start then. The hardest part there was getting that last part there to move because of all of that action we got going down by like the taint area. That was the part that I was most concerned about. And then making it look like the lower leg is moving on a joint. I've never animated that before in my life. So that was my first time. And I also had to do it without reference as well. I'm a bit of a masochist that way. So, let me see. We need to think of a new pose to link this. Actually, you know what? Before I move, you know what? It's getting kind of late. I think I want to move into the next section fresh. And I've done a whole lot today, so I think I'm actually gonna call it here. But here, I'll play it a couple of times for you guys. Oh yeah, first off, save it, of course. Okay. That's the first time watching it full all the way through with the new motion in there. I think that looks pretty damn good. I'm actually proud of that. Especially because of all the goddamn muscle groups that we got going on there. If I tried this a year ago, I would have died. Oh, a little backstory about the earrings. Originally they were just a prop, but the way I'm like thinking about them is when Bruce Banner was first doing his work as a scientist, I'm imagining he was like, you know, watching some stuff, kind of like, you know, the Trinity tests for like, you know, atomic bombs or whatever the hell science crap he was up to. And it's like something like tannerite might have gotten formed through explosions or whatever. And he probably figured, you know what, like that'd be pretty cool little, like, you know, it'd be cool if we got that made like jewelry or something. I think my cousin would dig that. So that's kind of where my head is. Those earrings were like a gift to her from her cousin when she was a kid. And so they hold a lot of sentimental value. That's why she touches them like that. And the cool thing that we're going to illustrate when we get to the coloring phase is I'm going to have them sparkle. And we're going to have this be very, very magical girl-like. Not tannerite. Am I stupid? Tannerite's that stuff that explodes when you shoot it. We fucking made that into jewelry. No, not tannerite. What the fuck is that shit? What the fuck is it? It's, what is that rock that forms with nuclear, nuclear, let's see. Rock from Trinonite. Of course, the Trinity test. Okay. Yeah, it's a Trinonite. So it's like a Trinonite rock. And so when, you know, when she starts radiating, it'll like glow all magical girl-like. So yeah, never get your fucking significant other tannerite jewelry. It will not end well. Trinitite. God damn, I gotta learn to read. Tight. Trinitite. Yeah, not tannerite. Again, never get your significant other tannerite jewelry. It's a recipe for disaster. All right, I think I'm gonna call it here, guys. There's more I probably could do, but I'm just oh, there we go. There's my timer. Perfect. I'm just kind of tired. I'm gonna go probably eat dinner. And again, my wife and I are gonna go see 28 Years Later. So, I'm gonna just take it easy for a little bit before then. So, yeah, guys. Appreciate you stopping in for my first voiced stream in a little while. I know I haven't done it in a long time. Um, Sometimes I feel like I don't have a lot to talk about. Today I just felt like talking. But I appreciate you guys sticking around, watching the process. Hopefully you picked up a little, little trick or two along the way. And for those of you that have given me feedback, as I've gone, John, that's you in particular. I appreciate it, and I hope you keep on giving me stuff to work with. It really does help. And for JCR, thanks for the $5. Again, you're supporting the caffeine addiction for a struggling artist. That means the world. All right, guys, I'm done. I'm gonna go. So you guys have a good evening, and I will see you guys soon. All right.